Hi, everyone. It is the afternoon before our course starts, and I thought that I would make a video that explains all three major assignments. And the reason why I want to do this is that um, it's easy to um, review the assignments in the first week or so, and they look as though they're separate and that they're distinct. But in fact, well, there's two things. First of all, the style of them is all the same. And what I mean by that is that they are all role playing assignments in the sense that they're not like standard college papers where you're writing a 10-page paper and researching it and all that. They're assignments where you're simulating an on the job project, and everything is tailored to this. You're not writing about the job, so to speak, but you're acting out how you would write something for the job. And there's really very different things. I mean, you're not a scientist observing the work involved, but you are preparing things for the most part, for your supervisor. All three of them, basically are oriented in that fashion. That is to say, you are preparing um, project one, project two, and then project three for your supervisor. And then, I mean, I don't want to get into all the detail here. There's a sort of linkage between the assignments, or at least an optional linkage. And so, excuse me, what I want to do here is just walk you through what each one of them is about. So you sort of see the continuity and the flow. And the major reason I'm doing that is, once again, it's very easy to overlook this. And it's one thing to write it and send you emails and put it into the instructions, but somehow or another, I think it's more compelling if I just explain it in quote unquote person. Okay, so that's the first thing. They're all role playing assignments. They're simulations of on the job writing, and of course I'll dig into exactly what that means as the course progresses. So let me just walk you through each of the assignments. And I almost forgot this. All the assignments are short and really not very difficult. They're deceptively difficult because, especially the second and the third one, because there's a lot of instructions and guidelines and things like that. And yeah, I mean that's a good thing. We want the instructions to be clear and thorough. However, they're in fact, first of all, they're short. They're all short. They're all the longest one is 5 or 6 pages, and none of them are conceptually difficult. None of them really require a deep dive into any research. And once again, they're more or less, they replicate the kind of work you would be doing, on a daily basis. So they're kind of quick type things, somewhat spontaneous type things, and I'll deal with all that later. But okay, so let's do assignment one, assignment two, and assignment three, and they're evenly spaced throughout the course. Excuse me. Assignment one is the innovation project, and this is really simple. I mean, quite frankly, because all you're doing is writing a couple of pages. To your supervisor, you're writing a memo to your supervisor, whom you probably know pretty well, and say making a suggestion or a proposal about something, not for the company and not for the world and not for the universe, but for your own workplace, your own small unit. So they're going to be kind of simple, suggesting more training, suggesting post COVID procedures, suggesting working remotely, suggesting, many, just pretty simple stuff. And, let me emphasize, because often students take a quick look at the instructions and they think that they have to um, change Apple computers, okay? And this is not the kind of assignment. It's an assignment, I would guess, at the most, it should take you 2 hours to do. If you were doing it at work, about stuff that like a real, real working situation, you'd probably write it in 15 or 20 minutes. But obviously, it's a class, and you're not writing it for a real supervisor. You're pretending that I guess that I'm your supervisor. And so it's going to take a little bit longer, and you're getting the feel for this sort of thing, and you're following our format. Okay, but once again, if you're writing at work in maybe 5 minutes even, it's just just the sort of thing you would be writing to your supervisor on a Thursday to make a Friday suggestion. Okay, so that's paper one, the innovation project. And paper two is kind of elaborate, but it's still not hard. And basically, you're working in a team, and this is such an important thing because basically at work, almost all writing is team writing and group writing. There's very little that you do. I mean, you could. Arguably there's nothing that you do by yourself because you're always, connecting to your supervisor, to your colleagues, to to their supervisors, to the public, or whoever, depending on the case. So you're working as a team here, and the project is to take a look at everyone's innovation projects from assignment one, choose one of them, and formalize it. And we'll show you how to formalize it. But because there's four people working on it, I mean, quite frankly, it's pretty straightforward. It's not especially difficult. The hardest part of major project or major project number two, or paper number two, is working together, and that's what we really want. We want you to have a sense of how complicated it can get, and how important it is to collaborate and have you as like a first experience at doing that. Okay, so that's major paper number two. And paper number three is basically doing a short presentation. And it's kind of, in a way, it's similar to paper one, similar to paper two, but it's not to a supervisor this time, but it's to your colleagues. And once again, it's roughly 3 pages. It's pretty simple. It's based on a 10-minute talk, so it's not going to be long. And there's three part. I'll just say it. There's three parts to it. There's the script part. There is a very short PowerPoint, and then there's a handout. So it's pretty. It's not difficult at all. So those are the three parts, and each of the papers in the course is scaffolded. That is to say, we walk you through how to do this, and then there's this sort of post submission policy where you talk about the other students' work, and you also have a chance to rewrite everything except the last paper. And let me sort of repeat this. I sort of say this in my first video, but let me say it here. You have, first of all, our due dates are all flexible, and our due times are all flexible. I'll give you a target due date. Then they're usually Sunday at whatever, Sunday night. But if for whatever reason you don't want to submit on Sunday night, I mean, you can take 2 or 3 or 4 more days to do it. I mean, I couldn't care less. And I take this as, I don't know, this is also sort of simulates a work environment where you might have a deadline, but the deadlines are always getting shifted. So I think it's a real mistake to pretend that, like at work, your supervisor says, let's try to get this in by Friday, and then something will happen, and you won't, the clientele will change. Your supervisor's supervisor will come up with a new plan as things will shift. There'll be a pandemic, and things happen. And in our class, we don't want to like pretend that this is like you're going to court, when you submit the assignment. So you do your best to get it in more or less on time, and then if you have to slip it 2 or 3 or 4 days, I mean, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, all the better, because you'll do a better job, because that's the goal here, to learn how to do this. The other thing is, as I was saying, the exception of the last paper, you can just resubmit for a higher grade. So you submit once, and let's say you get a C plus, and you just as soon not get a C plus. Just read what I say about the paper, probably talk to me about it, and then resubmit it a week later, and I'll raise the grade. Okay, I don't average the grades; I just give you the better grade. And I sort of see myself as a supervisor trying for a good work environment. That's sort of my conception of this course. I'm not someone who's, testing you, quote unquote. I'm not someone who's trying to like inflict harm on you, but I'm teaching you how to do these very, very important writing projects, which you'll be doing thousands of times. Once you hit a place professionally where you're doing a lot of writing or you're a mid-level supervisor. Okay, I think that's it. It was 10 minutes, and I usually run these over, and I sort of apologize for using my phone on this. I usually don't I rarely use my phone, but for various reasons, I'm sort of into the phone videos these days. I'm not quite so sure why. And I will change that. I'll start to use Screencast-O-Matic or Collaborate or Zoom or whatever. Okay, whatever is the best way to do this. But I mean, I think this is. I want you to see me. I want you to hear me. I want you to I want you to have a feel for what kind of person I am, because that will help you sort of gauge your own activity in the class and also break down some barriers, because as I've already said like 90 times, in various ways, I want you to contact me when you have questions. It's no big deal, just text me. It's 301-728-5175. The number is all over the Blackboard site. Or email me, and I have to say, for reasons that I won't get into, my personal email is probably faster. The reasons are obvious. I'm looking at my personal email, all the time. My CUNY email also often has a lot of admin stuff in it, and it's a little bit difficult to plow through. Whereas my own Gmail is, it's just basically has whatever, my daily tasks. Okay. Talk to you soon, everyone. Welcome to the class, and this is a great, 7-week summer class. I'll talk about that another time. So thank you.